Faith can move mountains. Radio Maria, 91.3 FM.
The voice of truth.
Hello, good evening. Once again, we are here talking about child protection on Radio Maria 91.3 FM, the voice of truth. We're talking about that very precious gift we so craved for. Some people got into marriage and behold, there was pregnancy and baby arrives and you say, oh, praise God. Some other people did not get theirs that easy. Some are still searching and seeking, and we're asking the Lord to please grant answers, speedy answers to their prayers. So when they come, we say they are responsibility gifts. We say they are bundles of joy. We say they are a blessing to us. We say they are today, tomorrow, and all the time we want them around us. But some probably either because they were not prepared for it, or it just came easy, or continuously casting and having it as if, even if you pluck from the mango tree, mangoes are seasonal, and they take those graces for granted. But right here on 91.3 FM Radio Maria was saying, child protection is it, because once that baby comes out, he is a universal child, or a universal child as a girl, boy. We just know that they are to be protected and kept safe. What do we do on child protection? If you're tuning in for the first time, we talk to you about the rights of a child, for you to be part of it, ensure that the child also is taught his rights, and the child is exposed to know how to ask and protect his or her rights in his own way. There are systems in place, policies have been put down, and CSOs, NGOs, world agencies are after the protection of children, because that's one part of the human life that has been so trampled upon. People feel that children don't have rights. Like I would always say here, that children's rights are human rights and human rights are children's rights. So we talk about protecting these children by keeping the environment safe, secure, making sure that they have that environment that will enable them display and bring out their potentials for us to embellish, perfect, nurture, and make sure that we get the best out of them and also make them happy as human beings. We talk about those children who, for one reason or the other, have been abused. Of course, we shouldn't say due to their carelessness, because we are completely responsible for them, and we should be if we have not been. Therefore, we shouldn't place tags on them. That one that went to steal, or that one that was raped, or the other one that does not know anything. They shouldn't be given names tagged by any manner of offense or anything they have done. Because if you look into whatever form of abuse or mishap that has befallen them, you will find out that some adult somewhere did not do his or her work. Then we also look at those ones who for some reasons have problems, like emotional problems. Some of them need to be attended to. As a parent, as a caregiver, as a teacher, as a custodian, you should know that this child is withdrawn, or this child is no longer overexcited or somehow. So we begin to trace the form of abuse. What may have led to this withdrawal syndrome? What may have led to this issue, this action? Is it from home? Is it from school? Is it from the church? Is it from the society? And we look at it all and say, we must put our hands together to ensure that these children begin to get the right attention. And we come on here to say, be part of child protection. It's all hands on deck. All of us are involved in this. It's not a one-man thing. So on this program, we're going to be talking today about these serious issue. Now fees are being paid, a lot of pressure. We talk about inflation, we talk about people under pressure, and then somebody begins to bear the brunt, begins to receive the aggression that he or she did not cause. What do you call that? Is that displaced aggression? Yes. We're looking at displaced aggression today on the child. Please tune in as usual. Don't go away. I know you're on your way back home. Enjoy your ride as you're going back. And if you're already at home, please be part of this, because in a long time from now, you're going to be calling in to also give us your idea, your opinion. Maybe we'll learn one or two things from there. Yeah, welcome back to 91.3 FM Radio Maria on Child Protection. If you're just tuning in, it's Madam Momoh Miriangela, the presenter and child advocate for this program. We're saying today we must watch out and be mindful of displaced aggression on our children. We've been talking about parenting, safe parenting. And for us to have safe parenting, we'll have to be on our guards. We'll have to be careful and make sure that we try to modify and control our emotions. Because what's happening right now is not anybody's fault, as in we may have contributed in one way or the other, but all of the case of COVID, nobody brought COVID to say, I want to go through this kind of situation. And so many people still have not recovered from the effects of COVID. Another situation facing us right now is the inflation rate, that families normally that will do a loaf of bread for 450 naira, 500 naira, are now looking at 800, 1,000, and some families may have to do up to 3 loaves to say the children will have just 4 slices each for breakfast. We're not talking about what will go with it, the egg or the sauce or the sardine, or even just the bread and tea, just Lipton tea and milk, sugar in it. And then you're talking about just bread now. We've not looked at the soup and the swallow, the eba, or the tuwo shinkafa, or whatever, or amala that will go with it. These are children that are growing, they are healthy, their appetites are opening up every day. So there's something that is happening to parents, to caregivers, to custodians, and somehow it puts pressure on you, no matter how much you say today, okay, I've adjusted to it, okay, a loaf of bread now goes for 800 naira. Well, let's see how it goes. And then you go to the woman that supplies eggs and she tells you that a crate is 2,500. Wow. And then you want to pick up the milk and the sugar. Something happens to your psyche. Something happens to you emotionally and psychologically. And then you're thinking of the fact that you've resumed school. Okay, great. You've paid the fees, and then the books, and then the school run, and all of that. All of these on one, couple or one cousin or good Samaritan somewhere that is taking care of some group of children. Even for one child, it's not funny. So it's natural that provocations will come. People get very sensitive. People get irritable. People get, easily offended. And then they begin to want to let out. It's in this letting out now that we say, who am I letting out on? Is it the child's fault? Did the child brew this for us? No. It's not their fault one bit. Then you need to do, some of you who have already started letting out and putting pressure on the children, we are calling today now for damage control, because you begin to get fisty, physical abuse. You beat, you hit, you kick, you bang, and all of that. And then all of a sudden you remember, then the child is called to say, Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry. But in his mind, he's asking himself, but what have I done to deserve this? And some of you too, because of some kind of exposure or training or habit or upbringing you've had, you would not also, want to be humble enough to come back to pull this child to say, my dear, I am sorry. You didn't cause this. I am just sorry. I was just letting out. But it shouldn't also be often. You shouldn't as much as possible allow it to even happen around the child. It's something you need to contain. You need to learn how to manage and need to know how to moderate it. Because if you follow it the way it's coming, it's something else. You have to be deliberate to say, now, this situation that I'm in, so that it will not also affect my own health. I have to look for how to make it easier for myself and for my family. You see it manifesting right in the home, in public places, on the steering while you're driving. I could imagine what will happen if they ask all Nigerians now to go for mental tests. I could imagine what that result will look like. The result will not be interesting one bit. So there's every need for us to say, how do we handle this? We must look for ways to handle it. We must look for ways to manage the situation. What plans do you put in place for feeding? What plans do you put in place for the fees to be paid, for school runs? Maybe you begin to look at plans A and plans B in terms of fees. For feeding, you begin to look out for some kind of meals that could be handled in some easier and I wouldn't dare use the word cheaper way. I should say less expensive way, because nothing is cheap anymore. I was chatting with one of my pets a while ago, and I said, do you know, I asked them to get me, I bought Quaker Oat for myself yesterday, and today I cited pap, akamu, that's, the raw one. So I said, I feel like this. Okay, lady, could you just go across and get me some? And she brought me some tiny balls and said that one is 100 naira. Those balls, I will need to put like 3 together to say I'm taking akamu. And you can imagine what will happen to a child coming now to say, I want akamu, I need akara, I need bean cake, or I need moi moi to go with this. It's really not easy. So you need to find out, you probably learn how to make it. You probably need to know how to get the corn, and you're probably taught how to make it, or you get somebody to do that for you, because we also have career parents here who would not have all this time. So you probably buy the corn and give to the person sieves and processes it for you. Might be a lot cheaper, it's more hygienic, and you get some, relief from there. Look at the possibility of doing some of these things at home too. Maybe you get the flour. I know it's not cheap, but probably by the time you mix some flour and eggs, sugar, and a little bit of milk, you come out with some pancake for the children to take to school in the morning. But tell me, if you start putting those things together, what about the vegetable oil? What about the gas? And so on. But somehow, what I'm trying to say in effect is, could we look out for means of reducing some of the costs so that the aggression will also be reduced? There's some confidence that the children are going to feed. At least they go to school. Before they go to school, there's something to bite. Right in school, you have arranged for 1 or 2 things for them. On their way home, maybe their lunch, dinner is in the food flask or cooler, and somehow you manage, and in the evening something light, and they go to bed. I was talking to somebody again recently. I said, the issue on ground now is not, hello, have you eaten? Rather, are you fed? It is, have you eaten? The question is, have you eaten? No matter how small, have you eaten? Asking now whether you are fed, maybe for the little ones. So the issue on ground is really, really serious. But the children begin to suffer. And who are they suffering this aggression and provocation issues from? They do not suffer it just from parents. Right at home, they have their parents, father and mother, or whoever the head of that home is. They have the workers, the aides, the house help, the janitor, the cook, even the security man at the gate, venting on this child. Then the child goes to school. the teachers are also in this same society we're talking about, experiencing this same mega inflation. They are also pouring out this aggression on these children. They finish from there, they get into the society. Those of them that are not brought home by parents, those who have to find their way home either by joining keke, the bikes, the cycles, the tricycles, or even pedestrians. You see somebody just, pushing a child aside, say, get out of my way. This child has not caused anything. He's probably grappling with some problems right there. So all the seniors, as in adults around them, are letting out and venting out on these children. So you are probably tackling some mild issues of maybe emotional issues, psychological issues. I don't want to use the big word depression and other issues around, but the truth is that the depression rate in Nigeria now has increased. We must not live in denial. Then you can imagine what will be happening to the children that are at the receiving end. They are all faced with this same problem. You can imagine again that they're going to get back to school to study, they get back home to study and do the chores and be faced with all of this battering. At the end of the day, they must give the result. They must come out great. They must excel. Are we helping them by letting out, showing them aggressive behaviors, and not even helping them to cushion the effect of the fact that we are not even giving as much as we could and we should give? As much as we should give. It is not their making. You need to know that these children are also going through their own problems. There are situations that are facing them they may not even be able to share with you because you're already cantankerous. You're already very, very, irritable. They can no longer share issues with you. Normally, it's not as if you're friendly. Maybe you are the authoritarian kind of father or mother who normally will scream and shout and get angry at everything they do. They are trying to grapple with that, and then the problem of the economic situation, the health conditions around, the financial problems around will now become a mountain. The child is down there at the valley, stuck, and will be asking, how do I get out of this? What do I do? So we are further pushing them out to friends, to this same peer group that are already looking for people to initiate into those negativities. If you also look at them, these ones we are saying that are out there waiting are already abused back to back, that is battered. The society to them is cold. So they have become cold because, it's what you put into them. They were not born cold. They were not born, rascals. They were not born drug addicts. They were not born rogues. They were not born, So the conditions and situations around them are already bad. And then we worsen it from our own behavior, our ways, our system, the things we have put in place. Do we have things to take care of these children? We're going to be getting back when we come back from break to talk about all that. And remember, you're calling in right away by dialing on 081 084 475 18 081 084 475 18. Please stay tuned, don't go away. Hello. Welcome back to 91.3 FM Radio Maria. We're looking at a situation where there is something for us to do. There's need for us to... Hello? There's a call there. Hello? We lost that call. It's okay. We're saying now to each and every one of us, as parents, teachers, workers, society as a whole, to say we must now sit down to say, what do we do to help ourselves and help the children as well as the society? because I will always remind us that whatever is reflecting now on society started from home. And we know that there are some homes that are not really homes, that are houses, but even as houses or as whatever shelter we want to call them, there's need for us to begin to try to make them homes. Otherwise, there's going to be, a doubled aggression, hostility, violence. What we're seeing now is a child's play. If we do not get back to start tidying up our homes, to start tidying up the way we relate with our children, it is what they see, what they see us do, they have imitated. And as children, they don't even have, they cannot modify. You as an adult could say, okay, I'm feeling angry today, I'm really not happy, I could just suppress it a bit. As a child, he just lets out. You've not taught him how to suppress anything. His kid probably at home, he's yelling and jumping up and down. That's how he behaves. No, he's always like that. You've not done anything to help the situation. Or he's angry, he's trying to move around, moody, you're not noticing him. You're probably also telling him, look, if you think you have a problem, my own is times 10. Okay. You're teaching him how to be insensitive. You're teaching him how to mind his business and do his thing his own way. So he lets out in his own way. So he goes back to school and begins to bully. He begins to fight. He begins to let out aggressively, hostilities. And those who are not in school, that are on the streets, that belong to Mr. Nobody, of course, they too are seeing things that are happening, and they begin to feel, but I'm supposed to be part of this. Look at these children going to school in this fine car, AC, everything. Me, I'm standing here to do. So any opportunity, they will go and losing the fine trademark on the car. From this car, at least, let me losing this one and go and sell so that I can do this for myself, or I can do that. Or let me do this or do that. So you see, it becomes a ripple effect. From home, you're saying, don't just get near me because I'm very, very irritated today. The child who says, okay, I take it my way, I get back to school. Anybody say, no, don't come close to me. I'm going to, before he says, I'll give you a punch, he has punched. Okay, the one outside is also saying, okay, all of you big men, you have decided to put yourself in a dynasty, a world of your own, one big empire. We will look for our own share. This cake, let us cut it and let us, anywhere it's going to break from, let it break. And then there's chaos in the land, where there's need for us to tell ourselves, as much as these prices have gone soar, as much as our school fees, of course, the proprietors and proprietresses have to pay teachers, they have to buy the foodstuff and pay the bills to keep the children, for those who run boarding schools and those who don't run boarding schools. Everything about the school also has increased. The pen, the chalk, the board, the man that comes to mow, the mower, the petrol, whatever, diesel, name them. So everything is surging upward. And as it's doing that, it's doing something on your psyche. Something is happening to you psychologically, emotionally. But we're saying that we have to start controlling them. We have to put them under control. We must not let this out on the children. There are certain things, yes, you need to explain to them things are not very easy now. Things are this. So instead of four slices of bread, you're going to be taking 3 so that it will go around. Instead of maybe this number scoops of food, we're going to be doing this. Yes, it's as serious as that. It's as serious as that. Never mind that there are some homes where there are pantries, people need to go and sort out things so that they don't expire, because certain things will be in those pantries, those what you call store, and they will expire. Nobody to eat that much because they have so much. Imagine that some of the palliative provisions that were distributed in some warehouses, we found posts and videos coming out to tell us that these things are there, some decaying. Agreed. There are such situations where the surplus is there, to me, inhumanly stored. But back home, in the realities of the average Nigerian, there is hunger in the land. Whether we accept it or not, there is hunger in the land. We've not talked about our youth that have graduated, are there pounding the streets day in, day out, looking for a job to do. Some could even go with their, cutlasses, their mixers, headpan to do the serving job they do at work sites, and nobody engages them. Many have walked up to us. I don't know whether you've experienced it. You see them with their work clothes, and they tell you, "Ma, I've been out all day. Yesterday, I stayed without food. I came out today, and behold, I've not gotten anything. Ma, can I get just 50 naira to buy myself this or that?" Yes, based on principles, you may say, if you're encouraging them, so you don't want them, you want them to stop begging. They have to go and work. There are some that are out to work. They have nothing to do, no work. Let's call a spade a spade. How many people are building right now? Civil servants? Is the money enough for them? Okay, those who find and know how to get the money from here and there, how many of them are building? Because for these guys to go to work sites, building sites to get something, there has to be people building and all that. The economic situation is affecting projects. The private agencies and private workers, businessmen that are helping to engage some of these boys and girls are also going through a lot. And we're even getting a lot of increased, demands on them. The CSOs, the NGOs, the MSMEs, you are going to do this. You have to get SCOMO. You have to get this. You have to get that. CSC is telling you this. And all the bodies, that are, the system is demanding and increasing each day. They're increasing the level of their operation. All of these affect some of these things that we do. Are you talking about the banks and the deductions? So if you look at it, it's all pull and pull and pull, and people are like breaking. So you're not going to say, when I get home, I'm taking it out on my child. The child has not caused anything. It's not the child's fault. That's where we are coming from on 91.3 FM Radio Maria. We're saying today, sit back and just look at, all we've been talking about today, and find out the point at which you have let out on your child. Find out the point at which you have let out on that innocent maid. Find out what you're doing to your workers, to your colleagues, even to yourself. You're causing yourself a lot of harm. And we need you and us to stay alive to be able to take good care of these children. You're alive for them. It is this difficult. What about when you're not there? Because some of these things now will push up your BP, sugar level, a lot of things happening in the body system, and you're crumbling down in health. So many other things go with it. So it's what I'm saying now is a preventive, approach. How do we prevent this situation we are in from destroying our health, our children, and of course, our society? Because we're talking child protection here. We're talking about child protection. Do we look for how to make it easy? Do we talk it over with the children? Do we mention to them one or two things and let them know this is how it is? We're going to be doing it this way, and we're not going to be doing it that way because of this and because of that. If I used to give maybe 2 packets of biscuits, sorry dear, we'll have to be taking 1 to school so that when you get back, this will be ready. If I used to give 3 spoons, I'm going to cut down on this. Sorry, I love you. You know that at any moment things improve, I'm going to make sure that I increase it for you. Never mind. I love you with a peck. So if you do that, the children will also understand. What I begin to let out on the children is a problem. Another thing you could do is probably adjust. If you are probably in a school where the fees is this high, probably you would have to come down to something cheaper. You may get down to some lower ways of handling certain things, and then you look at, there was a time we had what they call austerity measures. Times are austere. We begin to look at those possibilities to cut down. And as you're cutting down, you are getting a little bit better fulfilled and knowing that, yes, at least today in my head, I have planned out the 3 meals for today. Today, I have planned out maybe if the car is, that's the car you use for school run, that's the car you use for other errands, the children are to be protected. So probably use the car, and the adults could do public transport in some way if that will help cut down. And then you look at the possibility of what you can get within your environment. Are you going to do gardening? Are you going to plant some vegetables around you? Are you going to look at the possibility of using your bags, the cellophane bags, the bags you use for shopping, fill them up with some soil, and right around you, you do a few things? Are you going to begin to do some services yourself instead of, contracting them out? What's the way out? We must look for this way out. There has to be a way out, as long as it is not in the negative, as long as it's not going to be against the good of your fellow man, because your right ends where the other person's right begins. And so also is a child's right. Your right ends where your child's right begins. You're not going to be letting out on a poor child who has not done anything to you. Rather, he's there to give you joy. So it has to do with management. So let's see how we're going to be doing fund management, time management, emotion management. Like I said, it's a deliberate plan. We're going to sit down to talk about it in the family, tell ourselves, and learn to also check yourself. When you notice that you're letting out, you say, come on, calm down. Just take it easy. Take it easy. What's the name of that child that was telling the mother, Mommy, calm down, So you're going to take it easy. You're going to be telling yourself to take it easy because it is not healthy for you. In case you're tuning in for the first time, it's 91.3 FM Radio Maria, Child Protection by Madam Momoh Mary Angela. Please don't go away. We'll take a break again, but before we go, I'm saying, please tune in. I know it might be a bit difficult for you because of network, but we need to hear from you because it's our program. It's your program. So please call us, send us SMS, WhatsApp us on 081 084 47518. I take it again, 081 084 47518. We want to hear from you. Tell us exactly how you're able to manage this situation. Thank you. Don't go away. Welcome back to 91.3 FM Radio Maria on Child Protection. Again, it's Madam Momoh Mary Angela saying we are waiting for your calls because we need to hear how you are handling, coping with the present situation to ensure that our children are not victims of displaced aggression. Of course, we know that talking about displaced aggression, you're talking about, venting out on somebody who has not caused the situation that you're in, or getting provoked over situations not caused by the victim, by the person you're letting out on. So let's look at it. Let's hear from you. Remember, the number is 081 084 47518. That these precious gifts the Lord has given to us, God has given to us, are to be cherished. They are to be loved. And they also are human beings. You can talk with them. You can have meetings with them. You can discuss with them and make them understand. And also teach them how to contain themselves. Teach them how to adjust to situations. In no time, they will be going either to the boarding house, if they're in the primary school, they'll be going to the boarding house in the secondary school, or if they're already in the secondary school, they will soon be on campus alone. And situations will come when suddenly the lab test is, or rather the lab practicals is asking for some extra reagents, and they will have probably delved into their pockets money or their feeding allowance. By the time they get back to the hostel, it will not be exactly what it used to be. And it's going to take some time probably for you to send them money. So they need also to know how to adjust. It is from such experiences they begin to get into the realities of life. Or when they are serving, how much is the NYC, the National Youth Corps member, given as stipend? That's some way to also tell them, this is it. You must learn how to manage resources. That's why you hear us talking about this financial intelligence, self-control, self-discipline, and all that. Hello? Hello? No, we need to hear from the network. You just have to allow us have this session. We need to hear this session. So, talking about the NYSC, if these children are not exposed to learning how to manage situations, how to modify, how to moderate. Hello? Good evening, sir. Please, could you reduce the volume of your radio?
I just left the car. I'm not in the car again.
Okay. Thank you for calling in, please. Where are you calling from and your name, please?
I'm calling from Nigeria. My name is Mr. Franklin.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Franklin. How was work today?
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank God. And how's yours?
Good, thank you.
The whole thing about your topic boils down to hard economy, hardship, and struggling to survive.
Yes.
Like me, I don't know, you got to a point, I called my children together, like you're advising, we had a family meeting.
Sure.
Because I have children who select food like I do.
Okay.
So I decided to go for that meeting. I don't eat anything I see. I have four of them, and two of them picked up that nature, that culture from me.
Okay.
Where you have somebody who eats the boiled egg and the other person eats the fried
one, yeah.
So it was something else. You bring in 1 crate of egg at 1,850 or 1,800, you find out they can eat it in 4 days because you must boil for this person and fry for the other person.
Okay.
So it was something else. But the only thing is parents should know how to talk to their kids. And secondly, wastages at this point also is where you don't know what to prepare, or you tell them to make something and they make it to the point they have to eat. And my daughter cooks to the point she serves dog from what she prepared in the house. Please, you'll kill your dad if you continue this way. Let's make it, if you take this in the morning, you take this other one in the afternoon. No food kills anybody. I can understand selecting it. But as God may have it, you're surviving gradually. The one thing I know is it boils down to hard economy. Because if you can afford 1 bag of rice, you can even eat and give your neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your contribution. That's very, very, very instructive that you call these children and let's look at it, and you'll be surprised they are preferring solutions. They're telling you the way out. So when they see the portions coming, they already know because it's a democratic decision. Everybody is part of it. Everybody has contributed in some way to say, okay, Dad will do it like this, Mom, we could do it like this. You understand? So there's every need for us to involve them and then be less aggressive, be less sensitive, rather insensitive, and make less hostile decisions towards them, throwing tantrums at them and all of that, banging and all of that, snapping at them. So we don't damage them. Whether we like it or not, those are not good behaviors and they should not be encouraged. We need to make sure that we control it. There's something to be done, like he just said. And then some of us, I said, we could do gardening, those of you that are listening to me right now, at times I begin to feel whether some part of my program should even be in pidgin English, because there are people that need to really hear me. You see, when I come, I don't come doing statistics and all those big grammar. I want us to talk to everybody, including the person on the street, so they know exactly what to do with the children, because some of them have their little radios with them while they are selling. They are listening, they are hearing. It's good for us to make sure that we plan and adjust in any way if your akamu used to come from Mama Kola, let Mama Kola either probably give you give the Mama Kola the mudu of corn, like 2, 3, 4 mudus, then she charges you for workmanship. That's going to be a lot cheaper. And there are local ways of keeping akamu from getting bad. For those who don't have fridges and freezers, I hear if you change the water constantly, it will not get acidic easily. And then the akara, instead of going to buy all the time, at times when you have the time, like weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, I don't see why you should not fry your own akara. You soak the beans, wash it, blend it, and that way the children will have a feel, and also be filled. They will eat properly and be satisfied because you're going to be the one making the akara. That again depends on even how you're going to make it. You may also be able to assess, is it cheaper for you to buy? Because I had a stroll in the evening recently around my estate, and I saw the lady, outside the gate frying. Then I peeped in, Madam, how much is this akara? I saw that, before they will scoop with a tablespoon, and put into the oil. Or there's a small, locally made spoon that is a bit, the scoop is deeper. They pour into the oil to fry. I saw this lady, she was using a teaspoon. So I said, Ma, how much is this akara? She said, Mommy, one na 10 naira. And I looked at how many of that a child would throw into the mouth and chew before he says he has eaten something to talk about being filled. I laughed and said, Madam, this spoon is too small. You know what she said? She said, Mommy, no laugh. If I tell you the oil, money, the firewood, this, that, by the time I said, sorry, ma, please don't continue. It's not as if I don't know. It's not as if I do not appreciate, what she's going through. But I just wanted her to also speak up. So we know that really there's need for us to adjust some of these things we do. In any way we can help ourselves to cut down, we need to cut down. Like talking about the egg now. For those who eat the fried one, maybe we put them together. The ones that eat the boiled one, put them together. And like you said, that is gas or kerosene or whatever energy you use in your kitchen. Because you cannot use oil to boil egg. It is water used to boil egg, and it's oil you need to fry. So they have to do 2 sets and all that. Then he said, advising the children to say, look, we need to look at how we'll have to start managing to eat some of them. Some of them, really, you force them, they throw up and all that. But probably you look in some other way to help. There was a child we were trying to help our friend with. His appetite was very poor at birth. At times the mother will have to call me, please come and see what we can do. I will sing all the songs, the mother will sing, eat for Auntie Angela, eat for Auntie Philomena, eat for Daddy, do you love Mommy, eat more, and all that. So this other friend came in one day, she was so irritated. What kind of rubbish is this? You people are spoiling this child. Give me the child. My friend wanted to react. I said, calm down. Maybe she has a solution. Let's watch her. She took the child. Come on, open your mouth. So I said, open your mouth. The child burst into... I was looking at her. I said, sweetheart, solution, let's see. Fortunately for us, our friend also eventually got married, got her baby, and her baby had A1 in eating issues. Would not eat to the point where they needed to do there was a medical attention to be given. He started introducing multivitamins, started thinking of how to stimulate appetite and all that. But it was that sensitive that I couldn't now say, how far? Have you seen it now? But by herself, she said, look, I need to apologize to both of you. Could it ever be that in my wildest dream, I will imagine that I'm going to be facing this? She went on admission because her child was not eating. Blood level was low PCV, of course, energy, immunity, that is complications. So you don't talk down on the other parent. You don't really know exactly what he is battling with on that particular child's case. But then we still have to look for a way. And we also make sure that we do not also overindulge them. We must make them face the reality, especially the ones that are already coming up that can reason with us. Because some of the babies, the ones that are babies, there isn't much you can do. But the ones that are getting, beginning to be at least reasonable a bit, you could say, okay, if you don't want to take these beans this way, let's mash it, or let's blend, let's make the moi out of it. It's a lot on parents. It could be very, very sapping, could drain you. But by the grace of God, we're going to get over it. So we're saying to ourselves, no matter what, that we need to put in effort, our time. It's going to take resources. It's going to take all the issues of policies to look at our economic situation again. It is really, really bad. And there is every need for us to look at it and see what we can do to help the masses, because the situation is really biting. There is hunger in the land. And whether we like it or not, as a nation, we should come together to look for solutions to these problems, to help homes, families, institutions, and get Nigeria back again. And on our own as individuals, we must do our own bits, our gardens behind our houses, our cutting down, like doing some form of austerity measures, like helping ourselves psychologically, thinking of how to ease out and ease off some of this tension in us. The realities before us, we look at how to manage them. That's all we can take for today. I say thank you very much for those who could call in and those who couldn't. Sorry about the network issue. We believe that by the next program, we're going to be having your contributions. Thanks for being great and wonderful parents and guardians out there, caregivers. And God bless you, our children, for understanding and taking notes that mom and dad are doing their best, being your best also to make them happy. God bless you. Bye-bye.